When I was a kid, maybe like 10 to 12 years old, I would spend a lot of my summer days at my great aunt Denise's house. Most of you probably spent your summers playing SNES games or hanging out with friends. But not me. I spent these few summers with my great aunt Denise. Denise was kind of a funny lady. Not funny as in humorous, funny as in a little different than you would normally picture an older lady. But she definitely had old lady qualities, like knitting and having way too many cats. Her house was just a normal house, but the backyard was magical. It was like a fairy tale land. There were so many flowers and fruits and butterflies and vegetables and birds and squirrels and cats and colorful overhead shaders and fun stepping stones and a clothesline. I've never seen one of those before. And a mini greenhouse for her tomato starts. Oh, that's just the cutest little thing. And the best thing back there was the snails. Oh, ho, ho, ho. My goodness, the snails. Those snails were everywhere. Big snails, small snails, old snails, crusty snails, and they all ate the same thing, the precious magical plants. This place was like a buffet fit for a snail king. All of those petunia salads and daisy casseroles, apricot pies, and hollyhock hors d'oeuvres. And oh yes, the sacred tomato plants. The tomato plants that are so heavily guarded and protected from the elements. Those tomato plants that produce such an abundance of tomatoes that our crates couldn't hold any more tomatoes. The sacred tomatoes that Denise had to plant every year and give to everyone in the family when most of us don't like tomatoes. So yes, Great Aunt Denise charged me with the duty of capturing all these snails, thus eliminating the snail threat from her fairyland backyard and her tomato plants. But Great Aunt Denise didn't want me to just capture them. No, she wanted me to annihilate their existence for good. You gotta squash them good. And if you know me, you know that I love animals, even the snails. I love watching them move so slowly and leave a slug trail. I like watching their eyes move around. And who hasn't poked a snail in the Ojo before? And watching them eat was crazy, cause they ain't got no teeth. How you eat this? And when you pick them up, they hide in the recesses of their shell, like, how does shell you fit in there? And then they slowly trust you and come back out of their shells. Wow, snails really are amazing little creatures. And this situation actually poses as a great opportunity for me to keep these snails as pets. Oh yes, you can count on me to get rid of all of these snails from your garden, ma'am. Now, catching snails is easy. They can't run away, but they know how to hide. So to find the snails, you gotta think like the snails. Some were really easy to find. Others would stick to the underside of leaves and hide inside the flowers, and some would just straight up climb up the walls of the house, just to show off. Soon my jar was too full, so I got a bigger jar. I made the jar into a nice little habitat for the snails. Lots of leaves and flowers and sticks for them to climb on. I brought my big jar of snails home, and I was the happiest kid in the world. Look at all my new friends! But having a jar of 20 snails is kinda gross and weird. Denise thought I was nuts for wanting to keep them, cause in her eyes, they're pests. They're bad. Annihilate. My mom thought it was cute that I cared so much for all living things, but after a day or so, she had to break it to me that I couldn't keep them. She explained nicely to me that they are pests, they eat all the good plants, and they attract bad animals. So we had to say goodbye to my little family of snails. I don't think snails are bad though. They play an important role in our ecosystem, but too much of one thing can be a bad thing. I think Great Aunt Denise just had a small infestation of snails, so she needed the majority of them to go away. It seems like every year in our town in the spring there's a hatch, and we get way too many of a certain type of bug. One year it was gnats, another year it was earwigs. That year must have been the year of the snail. I never kill snails when I see them though. I just let them be. One time I parked my car and I saw a cute little snail on the sidewalk next to me. Hello, little snail. Off to your snail job, I see. What a good snail. And I went about my day. I came home that night, and as I got out of my car, I see that same snail stuck to the side of my car. He hitched a ride on my car, and I thought that was so crazy and daring, and again, showing off. I just plucked him off and set him in the flower bed, and hoped he wouldn't slug up on my car again. Hey everyone, it's me, and this is the end card. It took me way too long to make this animation. I'm so sorry. But it's done, and it's the best one yet. And a shout out goes to Rantero_IRL for guessing the theme of this video. Now I'm gonna do some coffee shop videos where I talk about a topic in a coffee shop. If you'd like to be a background artist and draw a coffee shop background for future videos, there's details about that in the description. Make sure it's a coffee shop counter area because I'm the barista behind the counter. Don't draw people in it, this is just a background. I'm super excited for the next video and I'm super excited to have you be a part of it. Don't forget to like and subscribe and share with your friends. Remember to be kind to someone today and hold on to your butts because I'm working on the next video.